Today was bad. Light work, people. Light work. Seems we're soft all over the pitch. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, whether you're watching this stream live or whether you're watching on replay later, you're all very, very welcome to the Redfellas podcast, your Sunday night go-to football chat on all things, usually Liverpool. And tonight's no different. On the back of Liverpool 3, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, which wasn't quite good enough. Well, the result was good enough for us, but unfortunately, over at the Etihad, unfortunately, the result didn't go our way, which results in Man City winning the Premier League. First and foremost, of course, congratulations to Man City. Congratulations to Steve and MC Daps, two good mates of mine, and fair play to them. But from a Liverpool point of view, we're down, we're despondent for a few hours. We've had a few hours to reflect and talk and think about it. And then we have to rise up and speak on it and speak on these magnificent Reds. And I've got a magnificent cast. Well, I think I don't know what Conroy's done. He can't handle the pressure maybe, or he's upset, but he'll come back to us. But as you guys can see, next to me, I've got Mr. Blue Chip himself back in the building. It's been way too long. We've missed you on the Redfellas. How are you, my fellow Redfella?
Yeah, good to be back with the family on Sunday. Yeah, Grizz, like you mentioned, look, I'm not in that mood to say congratulations to City, but no excuses from my side. Well done, and I'm not too despondent. Look, we've got another European Cup final to go to next Saturday in Paris. We've got one more final, so our season doesn't end today. Bit of a kick in the teeth, a bit of a pill to swallow, but yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, look, I think for me the pill is not that hard to swallow because I didn't have any expectations for today. So when you have that mentality set up, then the fall is like a bit more softer. But football's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing that how it gives you that hope that maybe miracles can happen. And well, miracles do happen. There was patches and periods of today where we thought miracles might happen again. Of course, Keith Conroy, I know you said you went for a walk. How are you, man? How are you doing now? I know you was a bit down. How are you feeling now?
Do you know what? It's someone tweeted, it's the hope that kills you. And that's probably the best definition. I mean, I know we're going to get into it, but it's like, would you rather City won 5-0 or would you rather it was close and there's a chance?
Good question. Well, let us know, people in the chat, how would you have taken the defeat? What's the better way of losing, if you know what I mean? Like, is it if they blitzed them 3-0 over at halftime and job done, Hogya? Or the way it happened and swings and roundabouts and emotional roller coasters? I don't know. How did you? We get into how you felt through the different stages, but how are you feeling now, Conroy?
Yeah, no, listen, it's a bit like Avi. A bit down, maybe not, just a bit mentally, emotionally drained with today. And that's most likely that was going to happen either way. I know you said last night, Grizz, like no expectations, but that's football. It gives you something. Even the way City won, it's momentum. Momentum's huge in football, and you saw that again today. And that obviously you can't help that when you support a team. You get glued into it. And yeah, I'm always just a bit exhausted. To be perfectly honest, though, I was listening to something earlier, and it sums it up. It's like the best thing for Liverpool is to have a Champions League final, or any final, but especially Champions League final, just off the back of that, and it allows them to quickly forget about this and move on to that, and can put all their emotion, determination, endeavour into that game, and we will. So I think that's a good point as well. But overall, yeah, just a bit exhausted, to be honest, mate.
Exhausted. Before I come to Keith, just to read this first super chat out tonight. Don't forget, people, super chats ensure your comments are read, your opinions are read out, and we get to answer your questions, and it helps support the channel. I'm so deflated, says Selection. Went from hopefulness to happiness to depression mode in the span of an hour. We have to win the Champions League now, in my opinion. Also, just very quickly before we go on, Liverpool fans in the chat, you'll notice that there will be plenty of other clubs fans also in the chat. We welcome all clubs fans. We appreciate, we respect you. Only if you respect us back. So we will take banter like Gerard messed up, no problem. We will take banter like, there's loads, unlucky hold that, this and that. We'll take all that. It's not a problem. But the moment I see you acting like dickheads and I'm the judge executioner here, then I will block you. But we have to hold that. If you think that you can give us banter, no problem. We're here for that. It's not a problem. There you go. Look, things like this. Come on, City, hold that. Quadruple Grizz, all love. No problem, man. Absolutely, nothing wrong with that. But if I see it getting messy and nasty, I'm just gonna block you. You know how it works, man. I ain't got time to respond to you and shout like Avi. Avi might just shout you and cuss you back. I won't. I'll just block your ass and move on. Keith, my brother from another mother, my man, my go-to man when I need lifting, when I need to hear about my Liverpool, man. How you feeling? Talk to me.
Bro, I'm good, man. You know what? At the end of the day, West Ham for me, that's where it was decided. I thought this game against Villa was always a little bit of a bonus, and I think to say that Gerrard slipped up, I think a lot of fans from so-called big clubs could learn a thing or two on how to score a couple of goals against City at the Etihad this season. So maybe go back, watch that, take notes. In terms of what we've achieved, it's almost an oxymoron for people to turn around and be like, hold that for the quadruple. The fact that you had to put quadruple in the sentence anyway shows that, I say it in my WhatsApp group all the time. This season, as a football fan, when it comes to banter and it comes to like that camaraderie, I've been immortal, bro. And it's as simple as that. Because what we've gone this entire season, we've lost 2 football matches, 22 point swing from last season. Like what we've managed to achieve has just been incredible. But the most important thing is that there's no sign of this changing. So as good as it all is, and everybody's going to go, and when we go back, that we're going to reset to 0 and blah blah blah. It's everyone's chance. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. Honestly, Liverpool and City for me have proven it time and again that they are above everybody else in this league. And good luck to catching us. So enjoy today for all the rival fans. Enjoy it, but hope to see you there next season.
Absolutely, Mick Moran. Of course, everyone knows Mick. Comes on our shows regularly, and obviously shout out to his Cop Hype podcast as well. Yes, lads, we did all we could this season. What a team we've got. Number 7 next week will be the icing on what has been an outstanding season. Up the Reds. Avi, I know I spoke about your WhatsApp message last week you sent me, and I said if my hope was 3%, you doubled it to about 7%. Okay, 7%. You more than doubled it because that was an inspirational message from you. And I know you really believe in positivity and
storytelling,
fairy tales. We won't say storytelling because people start asking you other questions about other stories. But you're a positive guy who believes in positive energy and everything. Mm-hmm. This was always going to be a tall order. But the main thing what we had to do was take it to the last day and do all we can. Was there any stage in your emotions today where you thought this could be the worst possible way of not winning the title, as in they will drop points and so will we?
Yeah, for quite a while actually during the game. I mean, obviously, they get the goal through Jimenez, who crosses it in for Neto, who just on a side note, hope he's really well because I think he was clutching at his knee again. And the last thing that guy needs is another knee injury. But yeah, they go 1-0 ahead, and I think obviously the emotions, the last day, the crowd, obviously, listening on their iPhones and, radios and what have you, trying to find out what's happening at the Etihad, and I think that plays on the players' emotions, the coaches too. I'm sure. I think Divock was, looking at his phone. It was captured. It was captured on like Sky cameras and whatnot. That, and they were looking down on something. It must have been their mobile phones to see what's happening at the Etihad. And then obviously we score, and then for long periods of the game, we just thought, when's that goal gonna come? When's that goal gonna come? Fortunately, it does come. But Grizz, I thought that Villa are doing their part. Gerrard's sort of he's gone into halftime at 1-0. Coutinho scores, which is the script is even getting even more sort of like eerily sort of like weird. And then we scored through Salah, but by then they do in Istanbul. They scored 3 goals in 5 minutes, which we did in 05, and deflation. It's hard because I am positive, and we've got another final, and we're on course to still do a treble, a magnificent treble. But today, it does hurt a little bit, Grizz. It does hurt a little bit. Just when you think that Tyrone Mings, what a first half he had. I thought he was absolutely boss, and I put that in the WhatsApp group. I go, fucking hell, Tyrone Mings is putting in a shift, and I didn't know until you told me yesterday that he's a massive, massive Liverpool fan. And then the energy of Louise, Ramsey, McGinn, you just think, they've got the trickery of Buendia and Coutinho. There's something there for us, and it was there for us. But City, and just a side note on City, that's the way they approached that second half. They were demons. It was a behemoth kind of attitude. They were monstrous when they came out in that second half. And Grizz, it's
so basically you are ready to congratulate them, and well done. You said you're not ready, but
no, like I said, no excuses. No excuses from my side. No excuses. They've got the money, fair enough. Grizz, look, we're making a fist of it. If it weren't for us, this would be a Farmers League. This would be the French League, PSG. It would be the same points tally difference between second and first, 10, 15 points, 20 points, if you want to call it. So look, we're making a fist of it. And if City have got the money, fair play to them. But ultimately, Pep's been brought in to deliver that European Cup. 6 years in, he's still chasing that. He's got to prove that he can win a European Cup without the Lionel Messis, the David Villas, the Xavi Iniestas. He's still chasing that. So they can have the league titles. That's totally fine. But ultimately, that Man City board, they want biggers. They want that European Cup glory.
We've just got a few super chats to get through, and then we'll carry on. It says, Christopher says, appreciate the super chat, Bob Friend. He says, Christopher says, not really interested in what other fans have to say, but I do care what some of our own fans are saying. If you can't support us when we lose, don't support us when we win up the Reds. Yeah, look, nobody likes policing opinions. Like, there's no such thing. Everyone's free to support and be a fan of Liverpool Football Club however they wish to do so, but you are allowed to laugh and just laugh and ridicule so-called supporters at the slightest sign of adversity or defeat, which is not even today. I mean, as Avi says, finishing a point behind the most expensively assembled squad in history of the game, one of the most elite coaches of all time, simultaneously reaching every final of every competition you've entered. If that's a time for you to start moaning and groaning, then, as I said, fair play, but I'll laugh at you. That's just me. But you can do what you want, how you want. So if people are slaughtering or ridiculing our players or coach for anything that they've done this season, fair play to you guys, man. Good luck in your private lives. You must have the most perfect life ever. Mahboob says, appreciate the super chat, bro. He says, people laughing at us for not winning the quadruple is mad. Like Keith said, this is mad. They're actually laughing at us for not winning the fucking quadruple. Like, have a word. We've won 2 trophies and are another final. We've come so far now, up the Reds. Mark Hin says, Klopp says, Thiago not looking good. Now Shumani off to Madrid. What a day, man. Effing hell. Dinesh with the super chat, he says, I'm so proud. So proud of our manager and our team. We won 2 trophies, 1 to go on Saturday. Everyone, football pundits, wrote Liverpool off finishing top 3. Conroy, we go into the game and last night it was we woke up and anticipated what kind of lineup we're going to have. And obviously I know you're going to give me an honest answer, but be honest, did you have, in terms of selection, did you want to have one eye on the Champions League, or did you just want, no, let's play our strongest lineup today, and then Saturday will take care of itself? How was you? And then when the team lineup comes out, how did you feel?
Well, I think, Grizz, that to a certain extent, but I think through our medical team and our sports science, and obviously VVD and Salah, and there's other injuries as well, they had a few issues. So I do think Klopp would realistically be quite liaising with them to say, right, where are they in relation to how, if they did play today, how long could they play for? And I think that's the reason, obviously, VVD is a case of, you know what, if you're not sure, he's so vital to the way we play. And today emphasised that. You can say what you want. This guy is, I don't know the best word, he is, I don't know, the instrument that makes it. He is just that. He's huge. And you saw that again with the high line today. I know we'll get into that. I think with him, you take no chances. And I don't think VVD was ever coming on today. And I think it's just the case with Salah, the way he was played the last 20 minutes, if you can use him. But I think, Grizz, Klopp went as strong as he could in relation to, if anyone was maybe a doubt for the Champions League final, he would play them for the lowest amount of time possible. So I completely understood it. And I actually think, ironically enough, players who maybe came in for that position, like Jota, I think Jota had quite a good game today, to be honest, whereas others didn't. So on that, I was okay with that. It's like you can't just completely write off today because City might not win 5-0. And that's why it was a close game. You know, we could have won the league. If City did draw and we end up drawing because we've not played the best 11 possible we could play, we would rue that. So I completely understood Klopp's his decision making today and why he went with that team.
Keith, was you okay with that? Obviously, a little bit of a few oohs and ahs when we find out Salah's on the bench, Virgil's on the bench. And then obviously hindsight, wonderful thing, etc., etc. But I was watching it with a few mates today, and when we saw the lineup and obviously the state of play, and then sort of realistically, at the time we don't expect City to drop any points, and then we see Thiago in the lineup as well. We think to ourselves, could Thiago have been left out? Honest to God, we said this. We said, could Thiago have been rested today in terms of the Champions League? Because we should have enough to beat Wolves at home, like we had enough to beat Southampton away with a very weakened team. Or did you think, no, rhythm, continuity? Because I know you're big on that as well. How did you feel?
Yeah, I mean, to the latter, it's all about momentum at this stage of the season, right? You have to. That's why I will always go back to, remember talking about the FA Cup final and why I was quite confident that Liverpool would win it one way or another, because Chelsea were like just falling over themselves in the league, like losing here, drawing here, and you don't just show up to these cup finals on the back of shit form and just expect to turn it on the day. So I think if we had not won, with the whole situation going on at the same time, you know, with the defeat, it would have felt more like a defeat than probably either of the two defeats we've had this season, and could potentially get into the psyche of the players. With Thiago, I think
it's a hard one, isn't it?
Because you're making a lot of changes, though, right? So Fabinho's out of the team, right? You've got Virgil van Dijk's out of the team, so you've got your core in the centre gone already. So ultimately, like, it is already causing a bit of chaos, and then to then add in and then make another change when you don't need to, particularly when you still want to win the game. I thought he deserved to start. I think Conroy touched on a great point. Like, Virgil van Dijk is going to be crucial for us more in Madrid at the moment than he is in the game like this, because you saw it today, right? That offside and line trap is non-existent when Van Dijk doesn't play, and Real Madrid will play us in a similar way to what Wolves did today. So you'd rather have him in this situation, Champions League final, where we can catch the likes of Benzema and Vinicius offside more than risk him here today and him come out worse. I thought Trent needed it. You know, thank God for the game. Trent needed this game because Trent's been out for a bit, and anytime he gets injured, it reminds me of Emre Can when it takes him a couple of games to get back into a bit of a rhythm if he's lost a game or two through injury. So it's good to see him get those miles in the legs. And I think the front three kind of picks itself really. Clearly something's wrong with Salah enough to keep him out, because this is probably the longest I've ever known Salah to not play football. Really, 2 games in a row. I mean, this is shock. I've never seen him be out for that.
He brought him on because he needed to as well. It wasn't because, just shove him on. It was, they needed a goal. So I agree. That's a good point, Keith.
Yeah. So I think the team it kind of made sense. But yeah, I could understand why you would suggest as well, and why people would feel that Thiago was a risk. Had some others been fit, maybe he would have been the one that would have stayed on the bench.
There's nearly 500 of you in here, which is amazing support, especially when on a night when we haven't won the league. But that's amazing. Please like the stream. We're just started. We'd like to get the likes up. Very quickly, I want to address something that everyone's asking, and some are even sort of demanding it. Where is it now? Here we go. Yeah, so C79 Rabbi Lamba says, give us Tushimani news for fuck's sake. I believe that's what FFS means, right? Is that what it means? I'm just confirming.
Yeah.
Right.
We already started.
I've just learned what SMH means, and I'm not even joking, guys.
So you might want to enlighten me, Conroy.
Yeah.
Shaking my head.
So we're actually on a post-match reaction to finishing second on 92 points to Man City, and discussing how we feel and mode. This is not a transfer agenda show. From what I know, I've given you the news of Tushimani about a month ago that we were favourites and we've agreed. Today, a lot of reliable local Liverpool journalists are saying we have agreed, but so have Madrid, and it's up to the player. Now, I don't know Tushimani personally, so I don't know what he's going to decide or what he's decided. I told you we're in for him and we were favourites for him, and that's how it's been proved a month later. If he's decided Madrid, as I said last night's stream, good luck to him. If he's decided Liverpool, welcome aboard. Shoo train. So that's the state of play with Tushimani as far as I know. I have no access to Tushimani's personal opinion, who he's chosen and who he's not. Sorry, did you want to come in, Mr. Blue Chip?
There's I think there's a more transfer embargo news coming at 10:30 UK time, so you might just want to wait until you start giving out or dishing out what you want about Tushimani.
Oh, me or the people?
No, just the panel.
Oh yeah. I've said all I knew was we're in for him and we've agreed to deal with him and his club, which a lot of the journalists have agreed. That is the state of play. So that's all I said at the time, and we were confident of getting him. If Madrid have come in last minute and gazumped us, it is what it is. I don't sign the checks. You can have a go at me, but you're dickheads if you have a go at me. Over 500 of you now in here. Hopefully the likes ratio is up. Because that's where we're going from here, Avi. But oh no, the game starts. And literally the worst possible start for us. We've discussed the lineup. Konate, Matip start. Not the most vocal of centre-backs. Great individually, but you could tell that we missed Virgil van Dijk in that opening half, maybe. And Konate misjudges the ball. They're through and they punish us. Talk us through that.
Yeah, and it was the ball, like Keith was saying, they were looking for that ball pretty much for the first 50, 60 minutes, and they were getting a lot of joy from that too. Alisson had to intervene a few times. He had to, get off his goalie area, his area, like, quickly off the traps. So, they were looking for that ball. Konate, he's been, I think this comes down to experience. He's still 22. We're still, we're forgetting that, still unbeaten as well after today's result. And, he just misjudged the timing of the jump, and Jimenez gets in behind. And Pedro Neto, who hasn't scored this season, he was coming back from, like I said, previously 2 bad knee injuries, and he gets his goal. And, they were looking for that ball all game long. We were missing Virgil. I thought we missed Virgil van Dijk in general for the whole 90 minutes, just that aura that he brings at the back and that control. But hopefully he's fit and firing. He's had 2 weeks off now for the final. 2 weeks off now, so he'll be ready for the final. So they go 1-0 up, and then we just couldn't get going. We were a bit disjointed, and I think it comes back to that again. Jota on the right. We have luxury problems in the 9 because Bobby can play there effectively. Mane now can play there effectively. Jota prefers playing there in the 9. when he's on the right, we just don't have that balance. And I thought Diaz today, he couldn't get going either. I thought they done well to sort of like, block him, and he got in a few times behind. Should have scored, to be honest, in the first sort of 25 minutes, but I thought he was, not at his best. But yeah, it was just Grizz, I think today's game, it was just nerves, emotions. It was just playing like that for the first 45 minutes. It was just a little bit of like, chess, and what do we do? We're reacting to the crowd, we're not reacting to the crowd. It was just a bit like that for the first half for me.
Conroy, how did you feel in that first half? They take the lead, and that's the third time we've conceded the first goal.
Yeah.
Or is it the fourth time?
Third, I think.
Is it third?
Spurs, Southampton,
and Villarreal, and it's the fourth time.
Yeah, fourth time. Okay,
this season.
In the last 4 games.
Well, yeah, Villa as well, no?
Villa as well, yeah. Good shout there, yeah, Villa. Yeah, when Douglas Luiz scored, yeah.
So we're testing this mentality giants to the full, aren't we, Conroy?
Yeah.
How did Mr. Calm, Kall, and Conroy feel at that time?
Okay, actually, to be honest, I was okay when it happened. I was actually laughed. I was like, oh, of course. We spoke about this all week. Let's play the game, not the occasion, straight away. It was quite funny, wasn't it? I was okay though, because if you're going to concede early, our president is pretty good for coming back. It was just annoying. And I will give a shout out, like the forgotten man in Pedro Neto, because genuinely, before he got injured, what a player, what a talent he is. And just on a side note, no one wants to see anyone get injured, and I agree with Avi. I hope he's okay. But that actually helped Liverpool when he came off, because he was getting in 3 or 4. He was causing havoc. And to be fair to Wang, I know he actually done okay when he came on, but that probably helped us. But in general, I was okay, Grizz. I did know the crowd will get behind us. We know what Anfield's like, and we'll get chances to get back in it. I just found it a bit like, it was just one of them. It's like, do you know what? Just keep it simple for 10 minutes. But let's be perfectly honest, there was a lot in that game, but calmness and composure was not one of the main features. Only from a few players, I would say, actually. It was like a basketball match. So it was annoying, but I was quite confident we'd get back in it.
It was annoying, Keith, and I know you must have been, you love talking on the offside trap, and obviously you've referenced it, that this offside trap is the making of us. It's much needed, but today was one of those days and evenings where it keeps you on your toes and it keeps Wolves interested. We still get back in the game. We pepper them for the next 20, 25 minutes. But for me, it was way too helter-skelter. It was way too open. I guess we had to make it a bit like that to get back into it. And then hopefully the plan was to slow it down and gain control again. But wow, that first half an hour or 45 minutes, if you want to touch upon it, was pretty insane, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought we struggled to close down their midfielders on more than one occasion. I thought Neves was just spraying them. He was just finding that line. They were just catching it out. And a lot of the times, normally we'd all be cussing like, why are they playing on? But every single time they caught us, they were onside. In saying that, I thought, again, Luis Diaz, it's gotten to the stage with him where like he's single-handedly like dragging Liverpool out of these situations when we go behind, right? Because he is just so intense, right? He never gave the left-hand side for Wolves a moment to breathe. Like he was going at them over and over again. He had some real big chances, put a ball across the box, Jota tap in, opportunity for the tap in. He done a few times on that left-hand side. I thought he was causing them so much problems and really kind of trying to force the situation on the left. So I have to give a shout out to him for that madness of a moment. I always say that we turned into a basketball team once we don't have Fabinho, and we have, like, as I said, when you look at Jordan Henderson, when you look at Thiago, and there's someone missing in my head now, I'm just having a complete...
Virgil, Fabinho.
Yeah, Virgil, Fabinho. Sorry, no. Who was the third midfielder today? Why am I having such a... It was Henderson, Thiago, and Naby Keita. Yeah, I thought at times they were getting caught out a lot It's particularly in the press. The press was not intense enough, so it was allowing these balls to go over the top, like a lot more than we would have needed to deal with. So that's what I thought. That's what created that 30 minutes of madness. And someone made the argument as well, like, yeah, of course, going behind early is one thing, right? And it's a good thing. But, you know, had we gone ahead and put on pressure, because like the whole time this whole situation happened today, we never went top of the table. So it's always to think, what if we had gone 1-0 up, and then the City team had to then force the initiative? Do you get a different kind of situation, different type of mentality? The fans hear it.
I don't buy that. I think for me, it doesn't matter. They were behind. They threw the kitchen sink at them, so they would have only played one way. I get it from a fan's point of view, but I don't know if that would have had much effect if we took the lead at any stage on top of the table. Does it really affect anything?
I get what Keith's saying. Sorry, Avi. I'll just a quick one on this. But Keith, the only thing I kind of changed my mind on that was a couple of years ago, we took the lead against Wolves and Brighton scored, and City literally were like ahead straight away. So in my head, it's pretty simple for City. It's like we win the league. And I think personally, like, you've seen that in the second half. I get what you're saying, Keith, and I understand, like, well, maybe we put that on, but I think those players were so zoned in that they know what they need to do. It's pretty simple for City. It's different for Liverpool. We need to change with the circle. Well, we win the league, but we're relying on them to drop points. So I used to think that, Keith, like, everyone's different. I do get that, but I remember when Mane scored, and then so Glenn Murray scored, Mane scored, and then I think it was Aguero 2 minutes later.
1-1.
And it's just like, I think the level these players are at, I think City's task was there, and I think that's what, as Grizz said, they were like demons in the second half, and I think that's because of that. But it's funny. It's a funny old world. I was actually thinking that when I was watching it, that, you know how you get the little graphic at the side. Not once were we ever top of the table today, and there was a few opportunities for that, but it is what it is.
Just a quick one. Resident Wolves fan in the chat. Big up yourself, man.
Been there all season. Big up. It's so funny. The last game. Been there all season.
Absolutely. Wow, that was proper Wolves performance compared to the last couple of months. Didn't see that coming. That was enough only for a loss. And Avi, I said it at the time when I was watching the game. They played well, man. Like, why were they playing so good? Why was they playing so organized? I thought they were fantastic to a man, and that. Remind me of that centre back, the left-sided one.
Nuri. Right, Nuri.
No, is it Totti? No, Totti. Something like that.
Johnny.
No, it's the centre back. It was his first game.
That's the body, yeah.
Cody.
First game.
Bowley, Cody, and they play a third.
Max Kilman.
No, it was a Totti. It was one of his first games.
Max Kilman's been injured. Max Kilman's been injured for 3 months.
So who are you talking about? The centre backs today?
Yes.
Totti. It's Totti.
Yeah, Totti. I thought
Totti.
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic.
That was a commentator calling Totti, not me. Okay, so don't blame me.
A couple of more super chats before I come to Avi's opinion on
Totti Gomez. That's his name.
Yeah.
I know he likes a few of the Wolves players, so I'll let him come on. Philip, of course, our Newcastle resident fan. Big up yourself for the season as well, bro. We've enjoyed your company as well. He says, wish Liverpool won the league. The UCL is possible, but Thiago being out is scary. Don't we know it, mate? We relegated Burnley. Hooray! I'm confident you'll win the league next year. Thank you very much. Adrian Sheikh, appreciate the super chat. Goes, big up, Grizz. Love your channel. YLFC asking for a DM. You've got Fabinho, UCL final to play, plus Bellingham is right there. Anyways, don't worry. You'll never understand the Liverpool fan base, Adrian. You'll never understand the Liverpool fan base. They were having quite the success. I think Neves' passing, his first time passing, was a joy to behold in that first half. But we kept giving him time, space, and our offside trap was all over the place without Virgil van Dijk. Was you screaming out to slow this down, or was you saying, "No, let's just"? Because I know you can get excited, like, "No, let's just carry on playing the way we're playing," because we get back into the game. And it's a bit of brilliance, ingenuity from Thiago. Mane goes through. It's not the greatest of finishes. I'll say it again.
I think it goes through his legs, doesn't it?
But it gets back in the game. Yeah, no, it doesn't go through his legs.
It's like
I
he
thought
hits it into the ground, and
Which
it's
one was he
like
watching?
it goes
No,
right
no,
like
it's
under
around.
his glove.
Over his glove. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's close.
I was watching
His legs-
simultaneously 2 games at once, so I haven't
Yeah.
rewatched the
This what,
goals again.
this
so
what
far.
happens in it. This what happens. Yeah, this what happens in it.
But just
How did you feel? Like, did you want us to carry on going gung ho? Or did you think, right, we've got the goal now? Can we regain control, please?
Yes, but the issue that I saw today was Naby in defensive transitions, and I mentioned this on the WhatsApp group. He was slow to react today. He didn't. And look, he's great at pressing, but when he has to run at a distance, he's very leggy. And I thought today the team we just looked a bit slow today. We didn't look, that biting Liverpool.
It
that
looked like
pressing
the last
Liverpool.
game of the season, didn't it? It looked like a game. It looked like a team that's played in every single game possible.
And they did look exhausted, and you just wanted that one last push. And look, credit to Wolves. Yeah, look, Connor Cody is their club captain. He's come from the Liverpool academy. Unfortunately didn't make it at Liverpool Football Club. I think you have like one appearance under Kenny, but they could have down tools too. And I know it's hard, and we say no. They're always out there very professional, but last game of the season, when you got a team like Wolves who've not got really much to play for, it's easy to down tools. Like Villa, it was very easy to down tools on their part too, but both clubs made a fist of it. They made a fight for it, and they did. And Wolves were being stubborn, but I thought they weren't being stubborn as though that they just needed to defend, because they were getting out. They were beating the offside trap. Alisson, second half, was getting threatened. They were getting in behind. A better decision by Jimenez in the second half. That goes to Huang. That's 2-1 up. Similar to the first goal that they scored. They had chances, but we just grinded it out, Grizz. We just wanted that final whistle to blow, and whatever was going to happen at the Etihad, it was just like, fingers crossed, and hopefully we were going to be the champions. Unfortunately, we weren't. But today was just a game.
Half-time. I'm only asking you about half-time, up to half-time.
And coming up to half-time, we just looked leggy. We needed that team talk. Like, how Klopp's been rushing back into the changing rooms. We needed a team talk by Jurgen, just to rally the troops. Like look, I just need one last 45 minutes for the league before we can concentrate, for Paris. And look, we got that in the second half.
I think the team talk would have been completely different, Conroy. I disagree with Avi. Not for the first time. I think the team talk would have been one of, can you calm this shit down? We are back in the game. I don't think he would have relayed any score from Man City or anything else to them. I think it would have been focused on ourselves. I think it would have been more communication at the back and more organized pressing, as Keith says.
But we didn't see that, though. Just coming in on that, we didn't see that, though, second half. It was still the same.
But I'm just going by stages like we do. I don't know if you've forgotten how we do the Redfellas podcast. The stages by stages.
We're all emotional. We're all emotional. Yeah. It's okay.
So,
but
that's not the point, is it? The point is we would have asked for it. We wanted it. And we did see it. I think it was far more slower the second half without any penetration. I thought we slowed the game down a bit too much in the second half. And I think, obviously, naturally, one of the keys to that was the Thiago injury substitution. James Milner comes on, gives us a bit more organization, but far less creativity, which was going to be natural, right?
Yeah, no, it was. I actually think, in all seriousness, though, that was gutted. Obviously, Thiago went off injured, and we hope. I don't know if I'm clutching at straws here that he'll make it. Likely he won't. But in all seriousness, though, that game, and Milner wasn't the worst introduction for that. He's done well recently, and that game did need individuals who were like, no, just have a go at someone. You need to calm down. You're being far too erratic. You're giving the ball away. Like Liverpool in the first half, I'm not going to stay too much on that because Avi covered it and Keith. But they were literally, everything was like a quick ball when they were level. So it was so unnecessary. They could have just taken this thing out of the game a bit. So I think that was a good introduction for us. But yeah, that I was happy with that. I think a few fans would maybe even said at halftime, bringing Milner on for, if Thiago wasn't injured for Keita, for example, would have been not a bad move, just to get that leadership, as we spoke about how him and Henderson are so vital. But yeah, I do think it worked. Avi, I know we're going to talk about it more. I do think it worked to a certain extent, but I would maybe say after the 60th minute, we kind of got them pendings, maybe the wrong word, but we were recycling keeping it and recycling it quite well. and not as erratic. What I do think, though, is in fairness to Wolves, see when you've got Neves and Moutinho, you're not like a Burnley. You can hold the ball for 2 minutes, and you've seen the crowd getting frustrated quite a lot. There was about 4 instances where Wolves were like, no, we'll just keep the ball. And obviously that adds to the frustration in the park as well.
Frustration was the word for me, Keith. Frustrated. I was, pardon the proverbial pulling the hair out, right? And you can all look at my head right now and say, what does he mean by that? But you know what I mean by that.
That was a full head of hair this morning, Grizz.
It was indeed, because the news started emanating through the crowd, the TVs, the radios, that Villa had taken the lead or were leading. And then we hear Villa have doubled their lead, and Phil Coutinho has struck. And all I could think was, I'm ready to buy Avi anything he wants, do what he wants, say anything he wants. I am ready to be his mascot for the rest of my life, because he was telling me this. He was telling me about this prophecy all last month or so. Coutinho will do something, Steven Gerrard. And you cannot be a Liverpool supporter and fan to not start thinking and dreaming at that point. But for me, at that moment when the news came through that it's 2-0, I couldn't see us scoring. And that was killing me, Keith. I don't know how you felt. Obviously, I'm going to ask you how you felt. I'm just telling you how I felt at the time. I was so sick in terms of, because we weren't playing smoothly. We weren't creating chances by then. It was more controlled than the helter-skelter of the first half. But I thought Diaz was showing his 73rd or 4th game of the season now.
Yeah.
Mane was showing signs of fatigueness. I think Jota had been pulled off by then, and Mo Salah wasn't showing any. Mo Salah was showing the form that he's been showing in recent weeks. I was thinking, we need something here, because this will be horrible. With them losing 2-0 and us not being able to think. How did you feel at that time? Or was you confident about us and not sure about the City game? Be honest.
I couldn't believe my eyes, honestly. Like, when I saw that Villa went 2-0 up, and Phil Coutinho seems to just love to score goals against Manchester City. I think that, like, there's ever been a bogey player for Man City, it's definitely Phil Coutinho. It was a brilliant goal. And actually, I had my one eye on it, and it was interesting because Villa kept catching City out in similar ways that we were getting caught out. I thought Ollie Watkins,
Brilliant.
I mean, there could have been more than 2-0, to be perfectly honest with you.
Really?
Watkins,
I haven't watched it, but apparently, is that right? Let us know.
I think that's why he hauled Fernandinho off as well at the half-time. He had him on the ropes.
Look, we're not going to discuss Man City too much, but apparently he made the important subs at the right time, and it worked. Because he's an elite coach, guys.
He clearly saw Klopp's interview at the start before, when he was like, oh yeah, there was a player in his days at Mainz that scored the winning goal that I think either helped them get relegated on the final or get them promoted on the final day. And he was like, oh, I bought him the next season. So clearly Ollie Watkins saw that and thought, well, Origi's gone, because he put in a great performance. Yeah, but going back to us, what I thought was quite interesting was Wolves were having better chances in the second half. That was the real scary bit. Like, if anything, like, we had all the possession, but they had the chances that you would say a better striker deals with that. They got behind us so many times. I still believe City would come back to win that game, but it was nice to have that joy.
Oh, really? So you was more concerned with City coming back than Liverpool getting the winner, or did you believe both would still win at that stage?
100%.
Really?
I knew we would still win the football game, and it was so funny because I was chilling with my mate who sports Arsenal, and he said something. He was like, "Oh man, you look like you're gonna score here, innit? Because you're doing that thing like I've seen you lot do all season there, where you kind of start to like move the ball better, recycle the ball better, play better football patterns." So even he was kind of like, something's gonna come. But Wolves had this situation where Bolly was blocking the ball, Totti was blocking the ball. Johnny, what a Johnny! superb. he had Diaz in his pocket second half, really. Like you said,
He provided good protection for that bet.
Great protection. Great protection for his.
That's a good one. Don't try anymore because you're not going to beat that. So
Your mom's watching, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, so you're right in terms of the legs, but I always thought we would win the football match. Like at the end of the day, I think these two teams just win football. If City were anybody else, if it was like Arsenal challenging us for the first league title in how many years, you might think to yourself, okay, they go 2-0 down. It could be a big problem, but See, on
that, Grizz.
and we both won by 3 goals in the end anyway, which is just mad.
See on that, sorry to interrupt, Grizz. See on that, Keith, about City. We're not going to talk about them too much. See that winning goal that they scored, right? That is the definition of their style. That's why it's so effective. A ball to the back post and a tap in, making players who, in any other time in their career, have not been prolific or big goal scorers, because the way they play cuts out the ability to be a great finisher. Raheem Sterling's going to hit, I think he might have hit already 100 PL goals for being an average finisher because of that. That goal sums up how they basically have a style that I personally would say, I think we're right up there, but they've probably got the most effective style I've ever seen in the Premier League. Like, they will just kill teams and they don't even need a striker to do it, to be honest. But on that, Keith, see, because I don't know if you guys agree, but I know City. Like, you just know. If you don't think they can do that, then you're delusional, because you know how good they can be, how they can just kill teams like that if you don't take the chance. And as soon as they got one, I was like, it's done. As soon as they got one, I was like, it's done. It doesn't matter. Look at those the first and the third goals. That is City. They'll just pen them in, and they'll just, the way they play, so they're not far out when they get a ball into the back post or like a De Bruyne whip ball. And as soon as they got it, I was like, this is done. And do you think there's ever been anyone like that? Do you think maybe the United team, maybe?
I was just going to say, the Van Nistelrooy United team was very much like that. People in the box, all about deep runners, the likes of Scholes and, Giggs getting into the box, Van Nistelrooy getting to so many people getting into the box. I think they were the closest to like that. Again, Arsenal played a different way. I think this is probably more like Arsenal, to be honest with you, actually. The Wenger Arsenal. They remind me of them. Just a couple of things, super chats before I get Avi's, because I really want Avi to relay his emotions at that time, because, obviously we know he was watching both games. So AGD, appreciate the super chat, my friend. He says, seems so anticlimax for me. I cannot believe that Villa was so bad in defending, and now Thiago out for the Champions League. So sad. Don't be so sad, brother. Be down. Be disappointed. Bit of sorrow for tonight. But tomorrow morning, we've got a massive week ahead where we look forward to a Champions League. Avi, be honest. 68th minute. It's 1-1 at Anfield. It's 2-0 at Villa. There's 20 minutes or so to go. What's Mr. Blue Chip going through right now? What are you doing? What are you thinking? Talk to me, man. What do you need to happen on the pitch, in your opinion, to change this? You're watching Tyrone Mings put in a masterclass so far. Gerrard masterclass. Coutinho, Watkins, whoever. Your boy Ramsey. I know you love him. What are you thinking at this stage? Are you nervous like I was, or are you like Keith? Keith thinks both teams are going to win still. I don't believe that. I don't believe you believe both teams are going to win at 2-0. You believe City were going to come back from 2-0. 100%. I'm going to be honest. I thought they'll get a draw. I know they'll get a draw, but they can't get 3 goals.
They don't draw. That's the problem. That's the reason we're here, because they don't draw.
But West Ham, they were 2-0 down, so they drew. So I'm thinking...
Still missed a penalty though, Grizz. I mean, what's the odds of them missing a penalty?
Fair point. But I'm thinking myself, Avi, they'll get a draw. I can't see us scoring. How did you feel? Because I know you're emotional in those situations.
You listen to the voice notes, Chris. You know how I was feeling.
No, but I don't care about the voice notes.
Look, I was very look, it was first of all, it was an emotional day. It was a very emotional day. The Gerrard thing, there were different plays today, throughout the day, last night, whatever, right? When Coutinho scores, I was believing. I was like, yeah, they're going to do it. I thought this is where Gerrard's going to earn his buck. He's going to earn his money. And he's
When
gonna
was the Watkins
some,
chance, Avi?
was-
When was the Watkins chance? Because I only seen the
Wat-
goals.
the Watkins had a great chance first half where he just miscontrols the ball, and the defender Cancelo, he just catches up with him. But Coutinho scores, and his celebration, even he look. Maybe it's me looking into it too much, but even there was some aggression coming out of him, from Coutinho. That look, I'm doing this for. Look, we're trying here, Villa. We're literally trying to get something out of the, get something for Liverpool, whatever it was. He scores, and Grizz, like, I just sat back. I literally went back on myself, and I thought, I think we're gonna do it. I was never worried about us doing it. But I just thought that we would get a late winner. I really did think it would be one of those 89th, 90th minute where we would hit a winner. I really did think that. And, people would say, oh, Abby, you're a fool and stuff like that. It was inevitable that City were, because City second half, they were just piling it on. I knew they would have a goal in them, but to score another 2 on top of that, and it was a masterstroke bringing in Gundogan, which could be his last game, and what a game to bow out on. But I just felt that when Coutinho scored, Grizz, it was a sense of, I don't know, it's weird because I sound stupid now, but it was a sense of relief. It was a sense of relief that shit, they're gonna fucking do it. Like all that spout shitting that I've been talking on.
Relief?
Yeah, it was a relief because I thought, wow, because I was literally on a knife edge. No, Conroy, I was on a knife edge. I was praying, and I'm not the most religious guy, right? And like I thought, wow. Coutinho's made it 2-0. They're gonna do it.
I couldn't believe he'd.
I thought they were gonna do it. Yeah, and it was a great finish.
And it was such a Coutinho goal, lads.
And coming back to our game, Jota comes off, and I'm thinking, you know what?
This is set up.
The last 6 weeks, 7 weeks, the AFCON heartache, the World Cup heartache for Salah. Yes, the FA Cup, but he came off that. I said, here's his moment. Hopefully, and this was before he even scored. I said, hopefully he gets that. He gets to write that chapter with like 5 minutes to go. I thought we were going to score late on, Grizz. I thought we were going to score 89th, 90th minute, one of those. But look,
you're going to be sick. One of those.
Hats off to that substitution. Just a quick note: Zinchenko changes it for them too. He was so direct on the left. He changes that game for them too. It wasn't just Gundogan. Gundogan will get the praise because he scored the goals, but Zinchenko was a great outlet for them. He really stretched Matty Cash.
Conroy, we hear of the goal, and I'm like you. As soon as they get 2-1, that quickly,
momentum's everything.
I think if they get the second within the next 5 to 10 minutes,
next 10 seconds, I think, Grizz. I
don't
know how
quick. No, but that's my point. I'm thinking if they get it within the next 5-10 minutes, they've definitely won. If they get it in the next 2 minutes, it's mental. And then I look back at the goal, and I think Emil Martinez saves that because it wasn't the most hardest shot struck. Side foot from Rodri.
I've only seen it once, Chris. Originally, it looked like a good goal, but I don't know if did he save it?
Rodri's finish was world class.
Would you not expect Martinez to have saved that?
It was Robin Olsen in goal. That's fucking idiot.
This is my point.
He's saying would have.
Sorry, no, I didn't hear the question because I quickly got.
He never listened.
No, it was a great finish, Chris. It was a great finish. Robin, we'll never know. Unfortunately, we'll never know. I thought it was a really good finish from Rodri. Really took it well.
Okay, well, mixed reports then. A lot of people are saying that. But
Olsen, let me. Olsen is a shithouse of a keeper. He's absolutely awful.
A good keeper saves that, they said. But look, Conroy, it gets back to 2-2 and there's deflation in the stands.
I don't want to watch it again, to be honest, Chris. I'm going to retract that statement. I'm not going to fucking watch the game again. I'll take your word for it.
Fair play. Suddenly, we're deflated. There was about 10 of us watching it at the same time. It kind of dampens the spirit completely. They get back to 2-2. And we're still 1-1. We're struggling at this moment in time to raise it. Salah's not looking himself. Diaz is tiring. The midfield seems to be, again, the last 15-20 minutes we went kamikaze again and left 2-2 at the back again. And they've come in a couple of times. Alisson's saved us and they've missed some. It's going mental. This is
that is, by the way.
absolutely. you could sense the atmosphere at the stadium goes a bit damp, doesn't it? I don't think Salah realizes that they've taken the lead because his celebration suggests to me he thinks he's won us the title. That was a bit of a.
I thought that as well, Grizz.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he's like Son scored 2 at Norwich. I'm only joking. Of course, he doesn't think like that. I was in my head. I was like having a bit of fun. You know what I mean? It's a bit of fun. And in all seriousness, I am happy that it's a side note. Individual awards, they are what they are. But I was laughing to myself because I'm sure it was like that, Grizz. But it was quite funny because Son had scored 2, so the timing was quite funny. But yeah, I think that kind of proves that the players probably don't know because like the crowd goes celebrate something. Sometimes that can be a false alarm or whatever. So I think from his reaction, it looks like he's won as the league, and that's Salah. He likes to step up, be the main man for clutch goals as well. Wants to be that guy. He's got that individual belief. But yeah, it was. What did you feel, Grizz, when Salah scored? Was it just kind of like bittersweet, or just a case of that was good goal, get the win, and let's just focus to Paris now?
By the time that Salah scored, I believe they had scored 3.
Yeah.
In terms of someone put it up there in 4 minutes. In 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
I actually think it took longer on the TV for us to see it, right? So see how they show you the goals in the game. I actually think it took longer. I'm pretty sure because there was actually maybe about a minute gap between the
It was hugely bittersweet. I was happy for Salah. I was anything to get Mohamed Salah back into the confidence and form that we need him to beat Real Madrid. We've all been speaking about how Salah sees the final as his destiny,
redemption,
and I'm happy for that. If he's in the mode of this is my destiny, and he plays to his maximum ability and capability, then I'm fine for him to think that as a one-off, because obviously usually you think team first. But if it enables him to enable Liverpool to win the game, then there's nothing wrong with having that mentality, if you know what I mean. Do you get where I'm going with that? So I wanted him to score, rhythm, form, scrappy goal. We needed Salah to score one of those. I don't think he looked good still. I still don't think he looks 100% Conroy, but I was chuffed to bits for him. And as Avi says, it would have been one hell of a story. I mean, it would have been the ultimate story. But it wasn't to be, Keith. We eventually ran out 3-1 winners because Robertson gets on the score sheet. But by then, you're totally despondent in terms of the league's over. Or are you thinking there's a twist here? There's 4 or 5 minutes to go. Set piece, anything Aston Villa. Was you watching the game like Avi was, or was you focusing on the Liverpool game?
Yeah, no, after that, I didn't put the City game back on. That was it. I thought there was just no way. The only thing I will say is that Robertson goal helped me win my fantasy football league title on Drive Fantasy Football. So shout out Robertson for that. That was the 5 points I needed to win the league. So someone won the league title today, and that person was myself. So
there you go.
Happy with that one. I thought again in the end it was just City's not the type of team that scores goal, like concedes in such fashions. Either they'll lose, which is rarely, if ever at all, or they'll just beat the team, come back and get it through. I think for Salah, I think it's so weird being the top goal scorer and the most creative player in the league, and probably won't now be player of the year. I think that goes to Kevin De Bruyne just for that moment. That ball that he put into Gundogan for the second one was just unbelievable. And he got the clutch moment, and Salah could have very well got the clutch moment. He got the goal. He came on there. He did what it was nice, proper poachers like Inzaghi finish right in 6 yard. Get that tiniest of touch to direct the ball into the goal. And I think against Real Madrid, I hope the redemption side of this story and this whole like because anything you do in life, if you farm too much back to the past and you weigh that and you put that on your shoulders, it can have a massive impacts. You know what I mean? I'd rather the Salah that showed up against Tottenham, that kind of Salah, who's maybe not having that weight on the shoulder, than the one that's trying to prove a point, because he can become frustrating when he gets into that level of point proving. So happy to see him back and happy to see him get his goal. I think the celebration was just much the league as it was frustration on his form. You know, it must be difficult for a man that clearly takes down his own. He puts his plans and his records, and he has such high expectations of himself. He clearly consumes social media content. So to see all of this talk about how people writing him off after AFCON, even though he still has contributed a lot, you know what I mean? Like maybe not to the level of the beginning of this of the first 5 months of the season, but again,
yeah, but that was optimum, Keith. That's the best he played in his career. I said that at the time. Like even when he scored 40 goals, decision making's never been at that level. His finishing's never been like at that optimum capacity. I'm not saying he's not a good spells, guys, but like he equivalently was like 2 seasons ago he scored a hat-trick against Leeds, first game of the season. It was unbelievable, that match. And then the rest of the season he'd have good games in between, you know, score good games. But this start of this season, it's been like it was like that for the first, I'd say half and 3/4, so or half of the season. So I think it's probably impossible. You have to be an alien to keep that up, and I think you're absolutely right, Keith. I think it's, you know what it is though. It's like anything. It's like people just try to drag people down. They build them up, and then they can try and drag them down.
Yeah, we love that in this country.
Absolutely
love it.
And just coming in on this as well, that golden boot meant a lot to him. We know Salah, you know, as much as we say he's a team player, he's all about individual awards as well. I think that was key that he ended up with that golden boot, and you know, he scored a goal and it was a scrappy goal. And I think he needed that. You know, we say sometimes a forward just needs a ball to ricochet off his
knees,
something like that. Yeah. I think he needed that. And, you know, now he's got a week now to, you know, rest for a few days and get ready for that final. I think that is his calling, you know, just as much as I thought today was Liverpool's calling to win the league. But I really believe next Saturday that it's come to that point where, you know, that heartache of the AFCON, Kiev in 2018, the World Cup heartache this season. It's just he's going to be running on an emotional journey next Saturday. I really believe that, but I think he will get his perfect ending. And look, we don't know, but it could be a great farewell as well.
You didn't have to say that, did you? Though we don't know. Like, why are you saying shit like that? Like
farewell.
We're positive. We're talking like, and you know, you're talking about farewells.
Well, if not farewell, he goes on his holidays. His holidays, comes back.
I'll slip you a little fiber later on.
You know? My God, do you get ahead of yourself or what? Rizzy, I was going to come to Avi, but skip him. Conroy. Rizzy, I appreciate the super chat. He says, our biggest problem under Klopp is drawing too many games. It's cost us a lot. It's cost us a lot.
You can't say that.
You can't get 92 points and say that. Like, I'm not having a go. The super chats, a few folk have said that to me today, so it's not just on you. But I just think, like, how many games we drew this season?
8.
8 was it? Okay.
City drew 6. It's not. It's only
but 92 points as well. It's 1 point of difference. It's like what was it when we no, fair point for that super chat. See when Benitez was it
08-09 season, yeah. 08-09 season.
How many games did we draw in that?
Loads. 11, I think. I mean,
it could be double figures. Double figures, it could be.
Yeah, it was.
Do you know, and what was the points in that? I just think, we're maybe looking for cracks here where I've got to be honest, I don't think there is. I think you're just against a juggernaut and everything. I could turn it on, and I'm not wanting to be cynical, but I could basically say there's lots of excuses. Some people saying, you know, like Villa, you can't blame other teams. You need to blame yourself if you not win it. If we'd won at Etihad, we'd have the Premier League. That's as straightforward as you have to be. You can pick other games if you want, but if we put it on ourselves, if we turned up and won that game, we would be the champions. It's that straightforward. Okay.
And any team that gets over 85 plus, Grizz, if you're still not winning the league, there's not much you can do. There's not much you can do. We can go back and look at games where we've slipped on points, or where if Thiago was fit, we would have won those games. A few refereeing decisions at Spurs' ground when we got a little bit robbed there, but we hit 92 points. What more can we do? You know, they pipped us by 1 point, just like they did at 2018, 2019. There's not a lot you can do. We're both brilliant, world-class teams, and cherish it. Honestly, cherish it. We came second and it hurts a little bit, but just cherish it.
Keith, a lot of people are suggesting that, you know, you're going to get that. If Steven Gerrard and Aston Villa had held out, he would have been the hero, even more of a hero to Liverpool fans than he already is, right? But as a result, he seems to got the other side of the stick and coin, where people have started calling him out and said, how can your team let it slip all the usual, hot takes for clout. I guess they play way and beyond their levels. They went to Man City and lost 3-2, whereas a lot of people have expected them to be turned over 3-4-0, right? It's got nothing to do with Villa, us not winning the league and Steven Gerrard. It's upon us and the greatness of Man City, right?
Mate, I mean, look, what they drew. They won one more game than us. That's all it came down to at the end of the day. 27-28 wins. I think we have the same goal difference, 26-26. I think they scored 4 more goals than us this, I mean, the margins were so fine. It's just, I would ask the question, why is teams like Arsenal going to City and getting pumped 5-0 towards the early starts of the season, etc., etc. Like I said, you could say a lot about what Liverpool could and couldn't have done, or what Villa could and couldn't have done today. But I asked a deeper question in terms of what could have a lot of clubs do this season, which they were not able to do. Villa put up more of a fight than most of the bigger teams that I've seen this season. So, obviously it's going to get the bear, but maybe for the best. Maybe that Steven Gerrard didn't have this, it maybe didn't work out for his career prospects, and now he can fully focus on Aston Villa. Because I think had Liverpool won the league and it was a Gerrard love song, it's, for his career prospects at Villa, it makes it just a bit more awkward because, the press will just be obsessed with it all summer. So I don't know, as much as I'm sure he wanted to do it, at the same time, probably decides that now him and Liverpool as acquaintances can probably be separated going into next season. So I don't blame him at all. I think my biggest hope is that history repeats itself. So obviously last time we were in this battle, then next season we just went on a run and just absolutely killed it. But there's going to be there's going to be teams that are going to improve, but the scariest one that improved is already Manchester City themselves. So I mean, next season we could go through the exact same thing, and it can continue. But we have to be in these conversations. You know what I mean? We have to be here. We have the squad. We have the players. We need to consistently be in this conversation. And as long as we're in this conversation, then you can win.
The margins are too small to be moaning about them.
No, exactly. You got to look at the bigger picture.
Look, isn't it? It's you have to be in this position. You have to set the foundation and be in a position where you can compete with a squad and club and an oil state like this.
Oh, 100%.
We have for the last 4 seasons shown that we can. Take out last season, we have consistently shown that we can be in these conversations, whether it's in the league, whether it's in the Champions League, and this season we've shown that we can do it in the domestics as well as keeping the conversation. I'm pretty certain if we win the Champions League, most clubs in world football will say we've had the better season. Most fan clubs of any fans of any club in the world will say Liverpool have had the best season there is possibly going, and you can't deny that. Sorry, go on, Keith.
And the best example of that is I feel like Pep's been having to try and prove that winning the Premier League is such a big thing. It is a big thing. I'm not saying it's not, but I feel like Pep's been on this offensive over the past couple of weeks to almost be like, no, we've had the better season and what we've achieved is harder to achieve than what you do in cup competitions. But because of the fact that you got more games and it's home and away, it's the most purest form. To a certain extent, I can see exactly where Pep's coming from, but he knows as well that if Liverpool win the Champions League, it will gloss over City's Premier League, and I think it kills him inside a little bit that we're in this situation. So people can build it as that way, but I think Pep sees it.
Just before the super chat, Big K, them buying Haaland, Grizz, all points to the European success. They won that Champions League. Another, if next season they go without again with the imminent arrivals, because I don't think Haaland will be the last piece of that European jigsaw.
Yeah, Gundogan will go as well. It looks like as well.
Pressure will tell next season. If they could win the league, they could win another domestic league cup. But if they don't win the Champions League or make a fist of it again next season, then
no fist of it. They have to win it. There's no doubt.
They have to win it. Yeah. There's no excuses. They
can dress it up how they want.
No, I agree.
Totally how he wants, and it's all mind games and to alleviate pressure or whatever. But the fact is, they've got to a point now, and I've had discussions with Man City fans about this. They've got to a point now where they are the dominant force in domestic football. We have to accept that. They've created their history in the Premier League. But to reach and to dine at the elite level of the likes of Real Madrid, the likes of Liverpool, the likes of AC Milan, you have to have you have to have European success. And that is their next level and next stage. Messi FC, appreciate the super chat. He says, if you are first, you are first. Great shout. If you are second, you are nothing. Awful shout. That's the reality. In 50 years, no one will recall second or how close.
We're in our first Champions League final, though.
I was going to say, if you feel Messi, and I really love your support and appreciate the super chat, but if you feel as if though you are nothing and your club is nothing, I can't help you. I doubt if anyone else can help you on this. You need to calm down, evaluate, recollect your emotions, reflect, and say, we're not nothing, bro. We're not nothing at all.
We're all emotional, Grizz. Listen, it's fine. Messi's always in the chat. It's not anything. We're all feeling it a different way, but it's just like we've won 2 cups. We're in another Champions League final. There's plenty we've done as well to add to our success, the history of the season as well. So I think we're all emotional. It's fair enough.
Look, Imran Khan, the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, is calling. He says, Grizz, you can celebrate runners-up. I ain't. I don't.
Grizz is going for it. Grizz is going for
it. No, but the problem is, look, I'm not celebrating. Has you seen anyone celebrate today? Have you celebrated? Have you had a drink?
It's as if people, like some people in the comments, want us to be like upset or something. Like, we're going to Paris next week. Like, literally, you're going to Paris next weekend, Grizz.
I can't wait.
We're on the verge of European glory, and we've got people like, Imran Khan saying, Grizz, you can celebrate runners.
Who's celebrating? I mean, who have you seen celebrating?
Oh, no, I'll tell you who's celebrating. The supposed big clubs have been celebrating.
Oh, yeah,
they've celebrated.
Oh,
pathetic. No, listen, we need to have a word, Abby, about this. I'm sorry, I'm not going on a rant. I'm usually calm, but that is pathetic. I'm sorry. There's a thing here. And listen, I'm not going to say him because I love him, right? And I'm not going to say his name, right? But Saeed is brilliant. I think he's superb, right? But he was one of the biggest culprits today. And he was saying, about it was basically equivalent to say it's like a homeless person laughing at you for losing your house keys. That's what it is like for Man United, Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans. I don't know if there's a lot of Arsenal fans as well, potentially. But like, I listen, some of the guys, great crack. But I do think there's been a lot of opposition fans. Like, why are Man United fans celebrating City winning the league?
But Conrad, these were Jurgen and the team have put them in. He's put them in a situation where, like United are like that husband whose wife's getting shagged, right, by his brother. It's like a Giggs situation, isn't it? Ryan Giggs, Nicola McLean, and Rodri Giggs. It's exactly like that situation. They don't know which way to go, so they're just trying to dish out all this shit that comes from their mouths like rats, literally like rats, right? Spouting just like crap.
I'm not saying
Jurgen Klopp has put them in a situation. No, but Jurgen Klopp has put them in a situation, right, where they celebrate every goal that City was scoring. You've got United fans cheering for them.
I know.
My 2 mates were in Selhurst Park, right? They couldn't give a shit that their team was losing 1-0. When Zaha scored, they were giving more of a shit that, oh my god, we need City to score. Oh my god, City to score. I'm in a Man United WhatsApp group, right? There's about 6 WhatsApp United. They didn't give a shit about Selhurst Park today, Crystal Palace, or whether the fact that Ten Hag was in the stands today in the box office at Selhurst Park. They were more worried about Liverpool winning the league. So all of them, absolute vermin. That's what they are.
I'm so unaffected by this. Like, you guys, like, so emotional, guys.
I'm not, Grizz, right? I should uninstall Twitter today.
Conroy, the way I look at it, Conroy, it's an amazing feeling. It shows we're back. We're back on the top where you have to. When nothing's going for you, it shows 2 sides of people in life. When nothing's going for you in life, what do? You either become very, very humble and you work your way towards back to the top, right? That's what you do, right? When you've got nothing going for you and you seem to have lost hope in life, you stop, you focus on yourself and you try to build yourself back up again. Or you become bitter. You become very, very, what's the word, bitter, and look at others, jealous, and that's what some of these people are showing. They become very bitter and looking at others, and you go for the successful people, you go for the top dogs, you want to be like them, you can't take it, and that's what it is. So either way, we're laughing, and they can talk. The only people tonight, only for tonight as well, though. The only fan base that can talk to us tonight is the Man City fan base. No other fan base in world football can talk to us tonight. Yes, if we lose the Champions League, then the Madrid fan base can come for us as well. But right now, all these other fan bases, they're just blowing hot air in the air. Let them. Check my tweet out. I just let them and I love it. They'd love to be us. Think about it like that.
Yeah.
Every time they say something, they you'd love to be us, right? You'd love to be us right now. That's what it is.
You're right, Grizz. I'm still in shock, though. I just didn't think it would be to this extent. That's what I probably should have said. I couldn't believe the explosion of reactions from non-Man City fans. Like, fair enough to Man City. Like, you've won the title, celebrate. But I never saw. It wasn't. That's what I was surprised at,
There was a super chat.
I must apologize.
Is it a quick one? Yeah,
it's a quick one. I must apologize to Nicola McLean. It wasn't Nicola McLean who was gigs. It was actually Natasha Lever. So I apologize to Natasha Lever. She's watching. And if anytime if I'm in London, if she wants to go out for a drink, I'm here.
What was this about? I don't even know. I've lost me.
The little
Nicola McLean was on I Am a Celebrity.
It was Natasha Lever that was with gigs and then stepped with Ryan as well. Yeah, there you go.
KM1365 sends in a super chat. He says we should be behind our lads next week rather than conflicting blame with each other over how we react to this. Keith, at full time, you saw the scenes. How did you feel? Let me quickly tell you how I felt, and then you can tell me how you feel, guys. I thought because of the way it happened, it's left me with a damp or a little bit of a sad taste in my mouth. Can you go on mute, please? Go on mute, please. Can you go on mute?
It's a damn squib or damn squid. I don't know.
Damn squid.
Can you go on mute, please, when I'm talking? Okay. Yeah, now he's pretending he's got a call.
He's doing insider training again. He's getting prepped for the draft.
Exactly. Keith, I thought it was a bit of a. The reason why was, just like the super chats, we should be behind our lads. I thought we really needed, and one of the purposes of our game today, I thought at full time would be to give them the boost, the support, the songs, the love, the push to go and get energized again, re-energize them for Madrid. I thought the way proceedings panned out, in the last 15 minutes. And I thought even Jurgen Klopp couldn't get the crowd going again. We didn't see the fist pumps to go next week again. That's how I felt, Keith. I don't know if you felt the same, or was you okay with how?
Well, first of all, I'm happy that people didn't fucking storm the pitch. So just on this, I'm not a fan at all. Really, really, really not a fan.
We would have as well, Keith.
I'm not a fan of it.
You called this a few months ago, Keith. You called this a few months ago. I remember it was after the Everton game, wasn't it?
Yeah, you've been seeing it happen more and more. People are feeling more and more entitled. Even today with the Milan title victory, right? The guy's there, Pioli's there with his son walking around. You got people in the face with the cameras trying. It's the selfies.
Keith, I tell you what it. No. And it's a great look. Keith puts out a great point. I tell you what it is, especially like you've mentioned Milan and Everton as well, who done this. Or it's pure emotion. Football has got to a stage now, right? Maybe not before, maybe not in like Grizz's, during Grizz's early years, like 20, 30, 40 years ago. But especially now where football is, it's affecting everyday life. It literally is. These kids, these adults, the mid-20s, people live for football. And they did in the past as well. Bill Shankly used to allude to it as well, and Bob Paisley. But all clubs now, it just grips you emotionally that you just want to vent out your frustration. Everton, they should have been relegated, to be honest. But when they were safe on the other week, on Wednesday, Thursday, whenever it was, they just wanted to vent out that frustration. I don't blame them, but yeah, it's ridiculous to run on the pitch. I agree with that. Carry on.
For me, what's the point of destroying the goal at City in your own ground? That's your club's property. Why are you snapping that in half for? Right? Why are you okay? The emotion to celebrate is one thing to celebrate, but to attack rival players, what happened to Olsen today was absolute disgrace, right?
That's
You
three
know,
injuries in a week for pitch invasions.
Getting into these type of altercations, you know, but the worst is those that they're not there to celebrate. They're there to put the phone in front of the face so that they can take a picture with somebody that doesn't want to take a picture of you at that particular point. They just want to celebrate. So honestly, like, it's almost like, because we've got the Champions League final coming up, it was almost like I would rather have had it that way, in terms of like, okay, cool, let's go around, we clap, you know, the players don't get into, you know, any kind of, you know, the players are safe. You know, there's not scenes on the ground, because I don't think Jurgen Klopp would have liked it, personally. I don't think Jurgen Klopp would have liked it at all, particularly with how protective he was during the COVID-19 situation. And I probably think he's one of those type of people probably still feels that wearing a mask is necessary in certain situations, because a bit more of a European thing to still stay safe. So I don't think he would have liked the idea of fans just coming in and storming the ground with all the health implications that happened this year. So I think maybe it kind of worked in our favor. I
think it's a tough one, guys. The outpouring of emotion is difficult to control when you're in a situation like that. I genuinely,
but then as emotion, like, be emotional about the situation, like, to celebrate with your fellow people if you're going to go onto the ground. Your first point shouldn't be to be running up to players, abusing players, taking selfies, trying to force selfies with players, getting really, like, you know, we know it's emotional sport. We know we want to take
I don't know how we control that though, Keith.
The Fenties will go back up. This week has proved that people have got more confidence to do it than anything else. Billy Sharp had 6 stitches. People keep saying a serious injury. He just went to his work and got headbutted. Right, This is already a serious case, guys. I think it's pretty straightforward. Man City doing it today, and it's not having to go Man City, but even Everton, like, there is a, they're confident to do it now. These things that have happened, it's not what's the word, retracted it. I think Gates will have to go back up. Fences will have, that will happen. I guarantee this. I can really see this happening very soon, because if I were at my workplace, that can't be allowed. It could be like Argentina soon with some stadiums, like maybe the temporary
and River Plate games,
but like, people think like this is an overreaction. Like, Grizz, I do get it, mate. Like, it used to be.
I'm wrong.
No, but it used to be 100 people emotional. But the problem is, that's 2 people who've went out to assault someone or provoke. If I go to my work, right, like, you can't just accept that someone can come up to you and provoke you. Like, that's not on this. The sense of entitlement, Keith.
But Conroy, the caveat to that is, getting fines ain't going to do nothing for the clubs. The fans don't care about fines. If you start saying, hey, listen, this happens again at your ground, your fans will deduct a point here and there. Fines is nothing. Fines is nothing. And it's happened in the Italian league before. One minute. It's happened in the Italian league in the early 90s. It's happened in the Italian league in the early 90s where points have been deducted. Sampdoria had a case in 91.
But it's not fines, Abby. It's not fine. You're saying something incorrect. That's why I'm stopping you from carrying on. It's not fines. You're lifetime banned from the ground. So that's the way to go forward. It's a lifetime ban. It's not a fine.
I still think you can get your way in, Grizz, in stadiums.
No, clubs get fined, Avi.
That's what I mean. Clubs get fined for it.
Yeah, I'm talking about the supporters.
But that won't do nothing for fans. They'll still carry on, Grizz. They'll still carry on.
They won't carry on.
No, come on, Grizz.
They will not carry on. Basically, look.
Because this ain't the first time it's happened at the Etihad either, Grizz. It's not the first time it's happened at the Etihad.
It's not the first time it's happened at any ground. Look how many we've seen pitch invasions this season. You need to completely bar it and ban it because you can't control it once they are on the pitch. So I get where Keith's saying, and I'm wrong in saying that it's an outpouring emotions. We may have done it today because it would have been out of this world.
No, I do get that, because I think it's the assaults. It's the assaults and the provocation.
Yeah, but that's wrong though, Conrad. I'm wrong in that, because once they're on the pitch, you can't control every individual, how they're going to behave. Not every individual is going to run onto the pitch and say, thank you for the season, brilliant. They're going to be dickheads among there. So therefore, to eliminate the even the remote threat of someone getting hurt, you're not allowed on the pitch. Celebrate in the seats, stadiums, do what you want, go outside on the streets, obviously in a controlled manner with a police escort, but don't run on the pitch. I think that needs to take place. So my initial reaction is wrong. I don't think they should be on the pitch, and I wouldn't advocate it before people say, oh, I was saying, it's fine to run on the pitch and show emotions. Keith made me see sense, and I agree.
Why are you on the pitch, Grizz? I was watching Grizz.
Who said it?
Vlogging himself.
Listen, if we had won the league today, especially after we couldn't celebrate 1920 season, right? I think we would have had our fair share. But there's a way of conducting yourself. If you're gonna do that, it's fine. There's a way of conducting yourself.
I've just explained why it's wrong, and now
but Grizz, but if we had won the league today, it would have happened.
Yeah,
but there's ways of behaving yourself.
Then you're policing. You can't police individuals. Society doesn't work like that, where you expect 40,000 people. Okay. 15,000 people to run on the pitch and say, everyone behave, yeah? You're allowed to run on the pitch.
No, you can't. There's not enough. First
of all, there's not enough security. That doesn't make sense what you're saying.
Okay, but I'll tell you one thing now. It's not going to stop until you put serious implications on clubs. Forget about stadium bans. Stadium ban does nothing. If you're telling me a fan who's banned from the Etihad won't go to another football game in another stadium ever again, you must be deluded, Grizz. You must be deluded. Because that'll happen time and time again. That same fan will probably get into Etihad somehow. Or any other stadium. You've got to put serious implications on football teams. You've got to do points deduction.
I don't know what you just said there. Why would we're relating a pitch invasion in terms of either avoiding relegation or winning the league, right? What we're saying, Avi, is not what you're saying is you may be able to run on the pitch, but you're actually trying to police their behavior.
No.
It doesn't work like that. You're saying they need to behave themselves.
First of all, you've got to stop fans getting onto the pitch. But you're not going to stop. But you won't be until
you can stop it, and it will be stopped.
But I don't think they'll go to. I don't think they do that. I don't think
they will 100%. Within the next 2 seasons, there will be no access to pitches for pitch invasions. I guarantee you that.
Can't see it. Remember that.
How can you say that?
If it keeps going
let's see.
Let's keep going the way it's going.
We'll have to wait this one out then.
I've admitted I was wrong in terms of thinking sometimes a pouring emotion is such that maybe you can make an excuse. No. In this modern day and age, and the threat of Looney Tunes and what we've seen in Billy Sharp's instance. And
that really got me, that one. I don't know if you saw it, but it was horrendous, that one.
Even the Ollie McBurney one, Conroy.
Yeah.
The Sheffield United one. That's the same.
But we've had instances this week, and it's still and so this is what I mean. I think at times it's unfair because we get you've got that emotion, but there needs to be stuff in play. What I would add as well, guys, I don't know lots about this, but I heard the analyst earlier. I'm pretty sure Manchester City had quite a bit in place to do their best to mitigate that today. I think they stopped getting access to the dugout. So if that's them with actually proactiveness, try to stop it. But let's be realistic. If you got 3,000 people in a stand, what the hell are 500 stewards meant to do if they all decide to run on the pitch? I'm not saying it was those numbers, but what I'm saying is you can only put so much in place, and from what we've currently got, Grizz. So I think Grizz's point, or the agreement there, the fences or I think it used to be people didn't have as much sense of entitlement, as Keith said, and they would just be maybe before COVID as well. So I understand we're more emotional and want to get on the pitch. They were they wouldn't go. They'd be no, let's not do that. But now it just seems like a free for all at times. So I think I tend to agree with Grizz. I think there will be, if this keeps going, I think there'll be substantial measures. I could see the fences come back in.
There absolutely will be. Keith, another sad note of today is the last non-appearance of Lord Divock Origi, as the case was in the end. How ironic that he misses out through a small little injury. But yeah, look, he got his send-off. He got the award. Again, a bit of a damp squib, whatever he wants to call it. Squirrel, whatever, damp squirrel, whatever he wants to call it. Keith, how did you feel? I felt a bit. I wish Divock was allowed to come on the pitch as a player and give him one standing ovation. But legend or icon or how are you saying it? And thank you, Divock, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think more of a cult hero status. I know Klopp insists on legendary status. Definitely cult hero. Clutch moments guy. Ultimately, kind of just ended the way it's been for Divock, over the past few years. You know what I mean? It's kind of it's such a shame we couldn't have relied on him more. But even this season, I mean, some really important situations and moments that he's had. And, him going to Milan is very interesting, very, very interesting. Seeing how Olivier Giroud has kind of almost reinvented his club career to a certain extent to help them win the league title. And if Divock gets a genuine run out, and actually the niggles go away, which tends to happen when you go to new clubs sometimes, right? I think him and Rafael Leao, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how he links up in that attack next season. Very, very interesting. And if Tammy Abraham's banging 25 goals in this area, I think he's going to have a lot of time, because I think genuinely he is a fantastic striker of the ball, very clean. You know what I mean? His technique's really, really good. You know, he gets about the pitch as well. He's got that speed. He'll run at you as well, and he'll make things happen that out of nowhere. He's so unpredictable. I thought it was fitting that John W. Henry and Mike Gordon were there to give him his leaving gifts. The bit, I thought that was quite fitting, because arguably Divock was, one of the early money ballers, really. You know what I mean? Like, he was one of the first kind of guys we pick out £5 million. And, when we look back on it all and his career, money well spent. Absolutely. Love the guy to bits. And I hope that he gets to achieve more success, probably on his own, as being more than just the clutch guy, and actually gets the run.
Yeah. Guys, let's very easy, very nice round figure. Let's get to 400 likes before the end of the stream. We've not got long now, but just everyone in here, I'm sure there's a few that, just because Avi's not on, haven't hit a like. Don't worry, still hit a like for Conroy and Keith. Avi, I just want to read out his statement, or what part of his statement. He says, so many teammates, fans, Champions League finals, cups and challenges when it was tough. Us fighting back. It's something that you will take for life. I will be able to share these moments with my kids later. It's been a pure joy. Just briefly, your thoughts on Divock Origi and what he's meant to you, what he's meant to us, and how you feel?
First came across Divock at the World Cup 2014, for Belgium. Had a few cameo appearances, scored, I think, a goal, and then we snapped him up. And at that time, he was like, he was a hot prospect, at Lille. Comes and joins us. Brendan didn't know what to do with him. He gets, luckily for us, he gets the sack. And then under Klopp, wasn't it, that 2014-15 season, where going into 2016, where he was scoring goals and he was scoring against Dortmund home and away. He was. You talk about clutch moments in recent times. There were clutch moments before, and then he scores twice against Everton, and then Ruben Funes Mori, was it the one that done him on his ankle, his first sort of serious injury? And prior to that, he had this confidence, this arrogance about him, where he was just scoring goals. He was scoring goals regularly, and then he just never sort of like propelled from there. Went out on loan to Wolfsburg, comes back, and sticks it out at Liverpool. There were moves out there for him, I'm sure, but yeah, the Barcelona games, the final against Spurs, left foot finish, brilliant finish coming on. The first game of the season, the 2019-20 season against Norwich, the own goal gets off, starts that game. The Everton games where he's scoring goals, he was the man for that sort of big occasion coming off the bench. That goal in the 2018-19 season, the one where Pickford makes a hash of things, and he's just right there at the end, to header it in. Divock, he can be whatever he wants to be. He gets to decide how he leaves Liverpool, a legend, a cult hero. He's made his status, and look, he didn't have the best goal scoring record, but he was a great character. It seems, great character, and he was content of like, look, I know I'm not as good as maybe Mo, Mane, Bobby, Jota, Diaz in recent times, but he did a job for us, more than a job for us, and he completes the set. I believe, he's got his league medals, he's got his Champions League, his Super Cup, he's got his Club World Cup, and he goes off to the Rossoneri, who are back from a bit of an exile, AC Milan. They've been taken over too. I think it's a great adventure for him in Italy.
Bashar, shout out Bashar, sends in a super chat. He says Bashar's an Inter Milan fan. I remember when we were playing them, he was very much involved in the chat a lot. Big up to the classy LFC fans, and congratulations. I think because of LFC, the league was competitive and great. I pray you beat Madrid and win the treble. I pray we do that as well. Conroy, on we go, up we go. Paris beckons.
Let Conroy speak on Divock too. Like he should have a few words, shouldn't he? Conroy?
No, you've missed a lot of shows. We've discussed
He has.
Divock
Okay,
a lot.
fair
Yeah,
enough,
me and Conroy spoke about Divock loads.
Yeah, just on that. Well, Divock, do you think he'll be in the squad next week? You think he'll be in? You think the injury definitely about the injury, 100%? Yeah,
he's out. So that's the end of Divock. But it's not the end of Liverpool. Hell no, it's not the end of Liverpool, because now we have a week to recuperate, dust ourselves down, and go again. Obviously, a couple of injury concerns, Conroy. Bit of a damp squib.
Squib, it's squib, man.
Yeah.
Not squid.
But we have no choice to show our mentality to go again. How are you feeling now going into the final week of the season?
Do you know what? As always, this has been very therapeutic. It does help to discuss with you guys. Always a pleasure. And I actually feel a lot better now, to be honest, going forward to this week. It's Sunday evening, guys. Redfellas tomorrow. It's Monday morning, the week approaching the Champions League final, and we're in it again. And we all know it's a busy week. There'll be everything. There'll be news every day. We'll be keeping an eye on injuries, who's going to be available, who won't be. But whatever happens, whoever is available, I believe in this team. But I think this team has gave me proof and evidence why I do believe in them as well. So any team we approach that Madrid game, we can beat them. We know that. We just have to play the way we can, right? Focus on that. And I'd probably kind of go back to the point earlier about the fairy tale thing. I don't really go with that narrative sometimes. It's two teams on a pitch. You prove you're better than them. You take your chances and you win the game. I believe we can do that, right? And I just look forward to that now, Grizz. And to be honest, the best thing, obviously, last time we had a final day like that, we went on to win the Champions League. Is that correct? Yeah, that was the Tottenham game. It is actually the best for the players now. They're not going to finish the season. They'll go straight onto this match. And I think every one of those players will wake up tomorrow and that'll be the focus. So yeah, let's just enjoy this. Let's take this in. It's like we're complaining, touch wood, we win 3 trophies. We didn't win 4, but you know what? I think I'm very happy to be where we are now. I know I mentioned this quite a lot, Grizz, but I always do remember Britannia 6-1 Stoke, final day of the season. So perspective is very important. So yeah, let's just look forward to this with the week coming. And I'm sure we'll have lots of shows. There'll be lots of stuff to talk about as well approaching it. But yeah, thanks for the chat, guys. I'm looking forward to it now.
Just as important as all the chat is, we have an explanation of everything we say. And Sukhbir explains squib, a small firework that burns with a hissing sound before exploding.
How good is the chat? Honestly, genuinely, I'll learn stuff. I don't know.
That could easily be a description of Avi, actually. A small firework that burns.
I'll teach you.
He's going to go off now. He's like,
yeah, no, it's squib. That's his new nickname.
Squib.
Not blue chip. Yeah. Blue squib. Can everyone call him blue squib from now on? Not blue squib. Yeah, blue squib. Luckily,
where'd you get that transfer news from? From Blue Squib. Very reliable. Blue Squib.
Lucky Luciano sends in a super chat, but doesn't say anything.
Lucky Luciano. What a great name.
It is indeed. We are 35 likes away from 400. Let's get over that line. Keith, my friend, talk to us, man. Get us ready for the Champions League final. Of course, people, we will have loads of in-depth shows during the week in terms of the tactical setup of both teams and how we're going to try to exploit them, how they're going to try to exploit us, possible team lineups, injuries, and everything. But just as a prelude to the final and sort of mood, we need a bit of lifting, Mr. Big K in the building. How you feeling? Where we at?
Can't wait, man. Honestly, I think winning that game was the perfect thing for us to do to go into this game against Real Madrid. I think it's 2 of the biggest teams in European Cup history playing against each other in the capital of France. You know what I mean? It doesn't get bigger than this. It really doesn't get bigger than this. 16 European trophies between them, so much legacy, so many quality players, so many stories that are going to take place, and we're going to be involved in it. Our season is not over. So while everybody else is going to be praying for our downfall, we're going to be here enjoying being in Paris. I'm gonna go down there with some people to see if we can find area to go watch the game and stuff like that. I think they're potentially doing fan zone for people without tickets. Jurgen Klopp is pretty much, if Paris wanted to or not, he's pretty much galvanized the troops to go down to Paris with or without a ticket anyway. So I suppose the atmosphere over there is going to be absolutely insane. And like we always say, enjoy it, because you never know when these moments might come again. Always remember, you could, as much as you could be in the Champions League final, you could also be losing to a Wilfried Zaha 1-0 against Crystal Palace and finishing in Europa League, along with the other former big team who are also playing in the Europa League because they failed to finish in the top 4 at the hands of Antonio Conte. So we could always be them, my friend. Instead,
perspective, 100%.
We're in the Champions League, and but I finished in second. We did qualify for Champions League next season, so we'll be there again.
Absolutely. People are saying, does Wolves F1 saying, does anyone know if Grizz has got a USCL final ticket? Does anyone know, Avi?
Yeah, I believe you'll be there. I believe you've got your ticket ready at the Stade de France.
God willing, I'm going to be there, and it's going to be another amazing night. Amazing night for us Reds. I'm telling you. I said to Avi privately, personally, a long time ago, I said number 7's ours this year. I'm telling you. I wasn't sure of the league. He'll testify, but I said to him, number 7's ours. I'm telling you that for a fact. Avi, how are you feeling going into this massive, humongous, magnificent culmination of emotions that the season has brought us, and one big, massive emotion still yet to come?
Yeah, look, today wasn't to be, but yeah, we've got a week now I'm excited for it. I think it's been coming, this final with Real Madrid, especially with Real Madrid.
You've been speaking on this Madrid final for a long time. Even credit to you, because I love slapping you, but I love picking you back up as well. Praising you, picking you up. Because you're my little brother, innit? And you're shorter than me, so I love picking you up. Yeah, you're not one of those ones. Slap him when he's, like penguins. Like when you see them walking, you slap them down. Right? And then the penguin gets up and starts walking again. And I love it. I love when you see have you guys seen a penguin walk? It's the most beautiful thing. I love it. So when Avi's walking like that, I love it. But the moment he starts talking and walking, I feel like slapping him down again. So it's nothing wrong with that. Me and Avi love each other. It's not a problem, people. But you've been saying this Liverpool Madrid, and you've been specifically saying Madrid, and you even said it before the Man City result.
Rodrigo, I called it Rodrigo to come on, yeah.
So this means a lot to you as well, because it's like almost like after Mo Salah, this means to you the most. You know what I mean?
Look, I moved out to the States. It's a short story, right? I'll try to keep it brief. I moved out here, right, in 2018, out to the States in March 2018. And the only
Storyteller Avi.
The first 3-4 months it was tough, right? Because I'm trying to look for a job and whatnot, and trying to get my driving license out here and my citizenship and whatnot sorted. So the only thing that was, keeping me going when you're away from your family and whatnot was the Champions League. The games against Man City, the semis against Roma. Then we got to the final against Real Madrid. People say like today, they're a little bit hurting, and today, look, we'll get over today because we've got Saturday to come. But I'm still reeling from 2018. That final, especially what happened with Salah, the Ramos, I really thought that Real Madrid team were there for the taking. And they were for the best part of the first 20, 25 minutes, And it wasn't to be. But I always thought from that day on that under Klopp's tenure that we'll go again and we'll meet Real Madrid again in a final. And look, lo and behold, we're here. Salah, people will say it's tailor-made for him, but I truly believe it is. He's wanted this. Forget about me and forget about fans. We're all excited, but Salah, I think Salah's ready for this. Salah's ready for this for next Saturday, and he's had a bit of a heartache like previously, like we've spoken, and I think the team will be ready. Injuries, yes, it looks as if Thiago won't be there. Van Dijk's back. The midfield, there will be a little bit of a conundrum there with the Fabinho. We know that he's a bit of a slow starter when he does come back in. But if he's fit, he will have to start. Henderson, our captain, will be there. And just finding the right partner. You'd imagine it would be Naby. But, Klopp likes to throw a little bit of a spanner in the works. It could be Milner too. But, yeah, we're ready. Look, Luis Diaz, his first Champions League final. He's collected a few trophies. He's got a league title with Porto this season. It's his Champions League final. It could be his moment. Mane in the 9, he's had a great season with, Senegal and with Liverpool. We're ready. We'll be ready for this Real Madrid team and whatever they check us.
We will be, man. We will be. We'll be, no doubt. We'll be ready. We have to be ready. We've got no choice. That's how we operate at Liverpool Football Club. Jurgen Klopp wouldn't want it any other way. You have your downs, your ups, and where we've had our downs from last season. Look how we came back. We've shown again and again and again. Do you remember, guys? We lost out to 1 point from Man City. We won the European Cup that season and came back and obliterated the Premier League. History seems to be repeating itself. Hopefully, history does repeat itself. Next season we can talk about next season in the Premier League closer to the time. But right now, it's about European securing, enforcing, further reinforcing our European heritage, and that means going to win number 7 in Paris. I'm going to be there. If anybody's out there, I'm going to be arriving at 8, 9 in the morning, man. I want to meet as many Reds out possible, enjoy ourselves, relax, and speak on our great club. We feel a bit down. We all feel a bit down. Hopefully the Redfellas have made you feel a bit better about things, because there's not a lot to be down about. In all truth be told, right? There's not a lot to be told. We've just lost out by 1 point to a magnificent football team and a magnificent coach. There's no shame in that. We haven't bottled anything. We've got 92 points, which is the 3rd highest total, I believe, of all time, in terms of not winning the league and getting that points total. So it's a monumental effort, and there's one more monumental, humongous effort to go. And all we can do is, as supporters, is support. Don't be fanboys, because fanboys only support when you're winning and everything's rosy in the garden. Hate being a fanboy. Honestly, hate it, and then you'll stop being one as well. Be a supporter, because support is what this team lives upon, and that's what Jurgen Klopp wants. We'll have plenty of previews in the week. I don't know if any of these mugs will be on them, but we'll sort it out. We'll let you know. Guys, of course, thank you very much. Mr. Blue Squib, Conroy, Big K, thank you. Thank you for making this so therapeutic and relaxing. Hopefully feel, oh God, how can we go?
Oh, God.
Donkey. Why are you laughing?
Oh, all right, so yeah, it's an interesting question. It's an interesting question. Thank you, Mustafa, for the question. Straight and simple. This, I believe, WrestleMania this year will be John Cena versus Randy Orton for the right to break Ric Flair's record, and then Roman Reigns versus The Rock in 2023 or 24. You won't be at this WrestleMania.
I love the passion that Big K puts into wrestling. It's amazing. I love it.
I haven't got a clue what this is or what.
You don't remember Ric Flair? Woo!
Yeah. Okay. Roughly.
Rolex watching. Yeah.
Rolex watching.
Okay, roughly. But listen, it's time to close out. Hopefully, Conroy's got the outro ready. We're good to go now, people. Tomorrow is Monday. Happy Monday. Don't be moody. Don't be down. We've got a huge week to look forward to, the build-up. And guess what? There's only 2 clubs that are relevant next week, and that's us and Real Madrid. Remember that. Us and Madrid.
The creme de la creme, Grizz. The creme de la creme.
And at the end of the night, there will only be one club Europe and the world will be talking about. Inshallah.
Football club.
Take care, people. Over and out. This has been the Redfellas.